And every single time we stay at a hotel, I take every little mini bottle
Of
of.
course you do, you fucking thief.
I have to. You're not a thief. It's you paid for it already, and then you just leave it. You know what we sat on? We sat on rotten.com, and that was
that was real shit.
Real shit.
But you know what? We never put a hamster in a blender, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
We never.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't hang my foot off the bed because I think
you can't do that. Something will.
Okay, so here we are again. It's episode 21.
21. We can drink now.
Yep, we're doing Jaeger bombs.
Welcome to oh my God, Jaeger bombs. I don't even know the last time I did a Jaeger bomb. Gross. Welcome to the first time ever of us remembering to introduce ourselves.
Yes.
I'm Candice.
I'm Deanna.
This is No Fucking Way.
So I wanted to, we did this before a few times in the beginning, and we haven't really done it since, but I wanted to give a little shout out to all the different countries of fans that we have.
We haven't done that, huh?
No, we haven't. We have, let's see, number one, obviously, is the United States.
Thank you.
USA. Number two is Canada. Thank you to our friendly neighbors.
They've always been number two, right? Haven't they?
I don't know. For a while, there was only like 2 downloads there, but now it's up.
Oh.
Yeah, they're number 2 now.
That's embarrassing.
Then we have the UK, Sweden, Germany, Finland, Denmark, Ireland, Australia. Yeah. We would love, if you're in Australia, please send us stories about all the scary bugs you have.
Please send them straight to Deanna. I'll give you her email
send
at the end of this.
Send to Candice. I will give you Candice's personal email address to send her pictures.
I'm going to give you Deanna's home address if I get one photo of a spider.
Then we have Belgium. I didn't realize there were so many. There's 44, so I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm going to end on the second page. Korea, France,
there's
Austria.
44?
There's 44 different countries, yeah.
Just shout them all out. What else do we have to do? This is our podcast.
Okay, so we have Austria, Iceland, the Netherlands, Norway, Brazil, Poland, United Arab Emirates,
wow,
Mexico, Indonesia, Colombia, Italy.
Ooh.
Italy should have enjoyed our last episode since
maybe
we had Amanda knock.
Oh, I don't know. A lot of them think she's guilty.
Oh. Right. Oh yeah, we had a couple people on our poll say that she was guilty.
Unbelievable. And I said this to Deanna, if you vote in our Instagram poll last week that you think Amanda Knox is guilty, we would really like to know why. Like what you think, what your take is on it, what evidence you think, because I don't know.
Like, we're genuinely curious.
Yes.
It's not even like a confrontational thing. It's like, I would really love to know. Because maybe I'm missing something. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. Because I have never talked to anyone that said, oh, she absolutely did it. She's guilty.
Then we have Turkey, Czech Republic, Japan, Hungary. And this is where it kind of drops off, where there's only like one download per country.
They still count. They'll tell their friends.
Dominica, which I didn't know. It's not even like the Dominican Republic.
Oh, it says
Dominica.
I saw
Malaysia, Switzerland, Portugal, Nigeria, Vietnam, Chile, the Russian Federation, Bulgaria, South Africa, Bermuda. Tell us about your triangle, Bermuda.
Wow.
Singapore. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Honduras. And New Zealand.
I've been to Honduras. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
It was actually so beautiful. Like the most beautiful beach I've ever been to. Well, hello to everyone.
Yes, hello, and thank you, and
far and few. You all
Candice and I are accepting plane tickets to visit you.
to everywhere besides Australia.
No, definitely Australia, please. So what else is going on? Did you watch anything this week?
You know what I watched all day today? And it freaked me
Real Housewives.
No, I didn't. I'm not going to talk about Housewives anymore on here because no one's except for me. I did watch that all week long, but today, so I started watching this kind of because of what my story is, and then I just kept going and going and going. Do you remember that weird, creepy little Momo challenge from a few years ago?
Yeah. I don't remember what the challenge was, but it sounds
Okay,
like familiar.
Exactly. So I remembered seeing it, and then I was like, and then today I'm like, why is it, I don't understand why it's called a challenge. Like, what is the challenge? And so I started looking at all these Momo videos, and it is fucking terrifying. She was like popping, you remember what it looked like, right?
I don't know.
It was like from the chest up,
Mm-hmm.
straight out of like the bottom of what would have been her breasts were like chicken legs.
Ugh.
And she had this like long distorted Japanese face and like long stringy black hair. Her eyes were huge. She was so fucking scary. So it was this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You remember that, right?
Yeah.
It was just like a
so
mannequin
scary.
or something looking thing. But
Uh-huh.
she would pop up on Facebook and WhatsApp, and it was some kind of game, interactive game or something. It was kind of like Simon Says, and she would basically give you a list of all these things that you had to do, and then it would get more and more like sinister as the game went, and like the last thing would be to like stab your mother or
Oh my God.
slit your wrist or kill yourself. And then every step of the way you had to like send a photo proving that you did all the things she wanted you to do or something. And so I was like, that's insane. She was popping up in Peppa Pig videos. Blair watches Peppa Pig all day. And this little girl in Argentina, while she was playing the game, she killed herself at the end of the game. I didn't know anyone.
God.
I know. I didn't know anyone actually did it. I didn't really read into it that much a few years ago when it was happening, just because it was so creepy. But now that I have a kid, I'm like, well, is this Momo thing like still, where is she now? Is she still popping up? It was terrifying.
That is really scary.
So I watched that all day long and I was scared in my own house.
I'm still slowly reading some things. I don't have much to report on that front. But you know what? I was on Pinterest the other day, and I would like for the listeners to chime in on what they think about this. Because I don't know if I'm gross or not. But I found this cleaning schedule. It's kind of like daily. Okay, it says daily. Like basic stuff. Wash the dishes. Everybody does that pretty much. You know, wash your dishes, wipe your countertop. Okay, like those things are fine. But then it was like every day clean your toilet. I don't clean my toilet every day.
I don't either.
Dusting every day. I do that once a week.
I maybe once a week.
Yeah. I mean, especially the visible areas.
I
like I have a black dust.
I definitely wait until I see dust on something, and then I'm like, oh, it's time to dust.
Yeah, exactly. Who dusts every day and like vacuuming every day? I don't vacuum every day. I even have a Roomba. I don't even have to do anything. I don't run it every day.
No. You know, both of my vacuums are broken.
Oh my God.
They have been for like 3 weeks.
I think I was most disturbed by the cleaning the toilet every day.
I would like to make a chore list. I just thought of a chore list with you reading that. Because sometimes I'm like, well, when is the last time I...
Yeah, that's kind of why this came up. Because I'm like, I want to do like a spring cleaning, you know? And I'm not going to do it all in one day. But I'm like, what all do I need to do? Because I don't think about...
When Peter came home from work on Monday, sometimes he comes home and he'll say something, he'll talk to Penny, but in reference to like what I'm doing. It's really odd, but he was petting Penny and he was like, "Oh, Mama's spring cleaning." And I was like, no, this is just what I do every single, he came home early, I think. I was like, no, this is what I do every single Monday. I clean the house every single Monday. I'm not spring cleaning because I'm scrubbing the bathtub. It's not spring cleaning. You should be doing this all the time.
Yeah, I just don't think to do things like cleaning the blinds. Like, I don't even think about it.
No.
And then I go to like change what the position of the blinds, like close them or open them up more, and I see all the dust and I'm like horrified and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
How often do I need to be doing this?
Yeah, I could maybe dust the blinds, I guess. I don't know. I'm more into the things that we like. My mom has a steam cleaner. Yeah, so I'm borrowing it all the time to like do the couch and the rugs and like the things that we lay on and live on, you know?
Right, yeah.
It's like the dirtiest your blinds or your curtains get are from just dust, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we keep our fans in our house running pretty much all the time.
Oh my God. Turn it
the
off?
Living room fan, I turned it off the other day because I got cold, and then I looked up and I was mortified.
Isn't it like inches?
Yeah, I had to get up immediately and clean it
yeah,
off.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That is so gross. Why do you get so much dust buildup on your fans like that? Just because they're like moving and catching stuff?
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
You get that kind of buildup on your blinds or on like the top of your like door frames or curtain or rod or something? I don't know,
I guess
it's like a catcher, like a dust catcher.
Yeah.
Where does all that come from?
I don't know. I don't understand it, but I want less
all of that like
of it.
Fall on you when you're sleeping?
Yeah.
Like if
Don't you ever see like when the sun's coming through your window a certain way, especially if you have an animal?
Yeah,
you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But you see all the kind of like dander like floating around.
It's just like home.
I'm
like
inhaling that all day.
House pollution. Oh yeah, that's true. God, it's sickening.
So disgusting.
Oh Jesus. Okay, maybe I'll deep clean next week. I did clean a lot this week because I'm like going through, since we're doing that yard sale next weekend, I'm going through every and I'm like throwing a bunch of shit away. So maybe I will super clean next week.
Yeah, I was also looking for inspiration on that end too, because I'm like, I need to, like I have a whole bunch of tanning products that I didn't like. And so I just need to get rid of them, So I went through my bathroom closet and just threw away everything that was like expired or like I was never going to use,
I know. I have such a problem throwing away like bathroom products.
I know. It's so
hair
hard.
stuff. And I get those that Ipsy bag every single month. I wear makeup 4 times a month now. Like I need to actually just cancel it, but I have baskets and baskets and baskets under my sink of bathroom products. What do you do with them?
I don't know.
Like a women's shelter or something? I'm gonna look that up.
You should, because I don't know what to do with them. There's just times where I don't like it, and I know a lot of places like you can return stuff even after you've used it, but I don't really like to do that. I know that all they do is throw it away. If I didn't spend a whole lot of money on it, I'm not gonna do that.
I have so much.
But like GNC, if you're into fitness and you're listening, GNC will take back stuff that you have tried. So if you get like a protein powder or a pre-workout or something that you don't like the flavor of, you don't have to suffer through it or throw it away. You can take it back to GNC and exchange it.
And do they just throw it away?
Yeah, probably.
It just seems wasteful. I think that's why I'm such a hoarder, because it just seems like a waste to throw something away. If someone, like all those bathroom products, I need to find someone that wants. I'm gonna look that up.
Put it in your yard sale. People will buy shit like that.
Like a used, like a bottle of conditioner.
Used? No, I thought you were talking about your Ipsy stuff that you haven't used yet.
Oh, I mean, I do have a lot of unused stuff, that I could throw in there. And every single time we stay at a hotel, I take every little mini bottle
Of course you do, you fucking thief.
I have to. You're not a thief. It's you paid for it already, and then you just leave it. You pay. It's built into the room.
You're right, it is.
I literally like rake off the counter everything, and then I used to even call for extra stuff, like those little like the hair things. Like I need some shower.
I don't even like their stuff. That's why I don't take it. It's usually
I know,
not
but
good.
you know what I do? I have a beautiful basket in my guest bathroom that has all of it in it for people that come, which people don't come anymore. So, but it looks cute.
Yeah.
All right, I am doing this week the Slenderman Stabbing. This?
I feel like I have heard it, but
You didn't see the did you not watch the documentary? It was on HBO. It was like years ago.
I actually don't think I did. Maybe I did, but I don't think so.
Oh, good. Oh shit. You know who are you know Slenderman, right? You've like heard of him, seen it?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Mm-hmm.
All right, so the Slender Man is a fictional supernatural character that originated as a creepypasta internet meme created by the Something Awful forum user Eric Knudsen, who goes by the name of Victor Surge on the internet in 2009. Slender Man is depicted as a thin, unnaturally tall humanoid with a featureless head and face wearing an all-black suit. Knudsen's intention was to, quote, formulate something whose motivations can barely be comprehended, cause unease and terror in a general population, which it did. His creation soon went viral as fan art, and online fiction of the forum creepypasta followed on. The character, which is sometimes said to have long tentacle-like arms to capture prey, stalks children, and depending on interpretations can cause memory loss, insomnia, and paranoia. Many people wonder if Slender Man is real, but while now a cult figure and the subject of a Hollywood blockbuster, he is just a fictional creation. So there was a Slender Man movie that came out in 2019, which I didn't even know about, and that's all I watch is like horror movies like that. So I don't think it was that good. And also, if you look him up on YouTube, and it's all clearly it's fake. I don't believe half the things that I saw, but people have placed him in like Disney movies and stuff, like randomly. And I don't know if it's real because I haven't seen all these new. He's supposedly like in the background of the Frozen movie, the Disney movie, and then also he's supposedly on the Titanic when it's sinking in the Titanic movie. And I saw this like still shot of it, and he's like in the background, like standing, just staring straight into the camera, and it's like a scene with Jack and Rose, and they're both standing in the front looking at the iceberg.
Oh my god.
Slender Man's in the background. I don't know if it's real though, so if you planned on watching Titanic this weekend, let me know if you see Slender Man in it. The reach of the Slender Man had gotten so far that the character was heavily linked to the stabbing of a 12-year-old girl in 2014. On May 31st in Waukesha, Wisconsin, Peyton Lautner, who was 12 years old, was lured into the woods by her two fellow classmates and friends, Anissa Weir and Morgan Geyser, who were both also 12, after having a sleepover the night before at Morgan's house. Morgan's mom recalls them having a normal night together as they have in the past, laughing, playing, and running up and down the stairs. They went skating and had frozen yogurt before the slumber party. So Morgan and Anissa initially planned to kill Peyton that night in the house.
Jesus Christ.
So the next morning, they all got up, ate donuts and strawberries for breakfast. Everything was normal, no red flags whatsoever. Peyton says the girls wanted to go on a walk the next morning around the park. Morgan's mom said they frequented the park and that was totally fine. So they went, and at one point the girls were in the bathroom that was at the entrance of the park. They planned to do it there, but then they got too nervous and they thought they heard someone outside or something. They get into the woods, and Morgan and Anissa tell Peyton they want to play a game of hide and seek. Anissa told Peyton it was a different version, though, and that she needed to lay on the ground and cover herself with sticks and leaves. Then she whispered to Morgan, after this, we'll be like lionesses charging a zebra. And after arguing back and forth about who's actually going to carry out the killing, Anissa handed Morgan the knife and said, "You do it. You know where all the soft spots are." Morgan shoved the knife back at her and said, "No, you do it. Go ballistic." Anissa said, "Okay, but not until you tell me to." After charging behind Peyton, then came Morgan's command to Anissa to stab her, but she was too afraid. So Morgan grabbed the knife, jumped on Peyton's legs, got really close to her ear and whispered, "I'm so sorry," and started stabbing her repeatedly. Peyton said she didn't feel anything at first because she was so in shock. After a few seconds, Peyton tried to get up, but she said she couldn't walk or see or breathe. Morgan and Anissa told Peyton to lay down. You won't lose as much blood that way. We're going to go get help. And they walked off. And then Anissa later admitted in an interview, she said, "We weren't actually going to get help. We wanted her to die."
Oh my God.
Peyton managed to crawl her way to the road where a cyclist came across her and discovered stab wounds to her chest, abdomen, and arms. He immediately called 911. Peyton's mother got to the ER just as she was going into surgery. She said all she could see were stab wounds. She told her daughter she was going to be okay, but she truly was unsure. Peyton suffered 19 stab wounds, and her surgeon told ABC News that 2 major arteries were punctured, and if one of the particular stab wounds to her chest would have been the width of a human hair deeper, it would have pierced her heart and she wouldn't have survived.
Oh my God.
I know.
They always say shit like that. They're like,
I know.
if it was half a millimeter.
I remembered you
left, you'd be
saying
dead.
that. So I learned, because I remembered, I was like, Deanna bitched about this before, that's always the case, which is so. But the way he explained it was that basically there's tissue and then the artery. So the stab wound like went all the way through the tissue, but the tissue is kind of there to stop it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All the way through the tissue, but then just couldn't make it out. So.
Oh, okay.
During their questioning at the police station, their demeanor was described as very calm and meek. Morgan's tape shows her dancing around the holding room with Peyton's blood stained on her clothing. Morgan asks the detective, "Is she dead?" He replies, "I don't know. I know she was taken to the hospital." And Morgan says, "What? Okay, I was just wondering." And then she's sitting like this, like you would sit in school with your head down, like looking at the teacher. She's just laying like this. It's so they're babies. Like they're
How old are they again?
12.
Okay, that's that.
In Wisconsin, a child can be interrogated without the presence of a parent or guardian present, which
Oh wow.
Well, we learned that in the Brendan Dassey's case. That's the first time I knew that, because he was only 17.
Oh, I thought they
let his mom in afterwards.
Okay.
So this was news to Anissa's mother, and she was super pissed. I mean, they're fucking 12, and they were in this room for hours. The detective on the case, Tom Casey, said, "We find children are more truthful without their parents present." Detective Casey asked Morgan if this was the plan all along, and she said, "Well, Anissa said we had to do it because if not, he would kill our families." Detective Casey said, who is he?" Morgan said, "A man. I don't know him, but Anissa does." Anissa and Morgan told authorities the reason for the attack was to prove the existence of Slenderman. They told police they wanted to prove their loyalty to him and become his proxies. The 2 girls believed he was real and said they stabbed their classmate to protect their families from harm. They said they believed the only way to become a follower of the character was to murder someone. After this, they claimed they thought they would be his servants and live in his mansion. Morgan explained during police interviews that she had seen and heard things and had hallucinations of ghosts since the age of 3, and was certain that Slender had demanded she kill her best friend to save the lives of her own family. The girls were basically afraid of what would happen if they didn't kill their friend like he told them to. Anissa Weir and Morgan Geyser were charged with attempted first-degree intentional homicide after they attacked Peyton Lautner. In 2017, Anissa pleaded guilty to a charge of attempted second-degree homicide due to mental illness. She was found not guilty because it was proven that she was actually mentally ill at the time of the attack. So finally, in December 2017, Anissa was sentenced to be committed to a psychiatric hospital for 25 years. In October 2017, Morgan pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree murder. The plea was part of an agreement which saw Morgan enter the plea and then for the judge to find her not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, meaning she would ultimately not be held responsible for the attack because of her mental illness. So in February 2018, Morgan was sentenced to spend 40 years in a mental health unit. She was overcome with emotion during the sentencing hearing, saying, "I just want to let Peyton and her family know that I'm sorry." Morgan's mother later told a newspaper that her daughter had been diagnosed also with early onset schizophrenia while in custody, and her father also has schizophrenia. Judge Michael Boren, who was on the case, tried Anissa and Morgan as adults, which I know we've talked about this before too, but this I absolutely don't agree with. They're 12. They're closer to 10 than 10. I mean, that's, oh my God. You can be tried as a juvenile and still be punished appropriately, you know? Fucking 12.
Well, I feel like them being put into psychiatric facilities is good.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree.
Unless those are like nightmare places, I'm sure.
Well, so I saw this other video that said the place that Morgan's in, the one that has schizophrenia, is no outside time, no windows, no free time. It's like a padded jail cell. Like it's no communication. I mean, I don't see how's that any different than jail. Even in prison, you get to go outside. He granted the maximum penalty that prosecutors had sought and discounted Morgan Geyser's youth. Boren said, quote, "We can't forget that this was an attempted murder." He later heard from 4 doctors who talked about how Geyser is making progress with her mental illness to varying degrees. But Boren called the teenager a fragile person whose long history of suffering from delusions makes her a risk to herself and others. Morgan and Anissa to this day still talk about Peyton and their friendship, and they both claim that they love her and that they are sorry. They were just so afraid of Slenderman that it was something that had to be done in their eyes. Peyton Lautner made a full recovery after 6 days in the hospital, surgeries, stitches, and an intubation tube for a while to help her breathe. Her emotional recovery has taken much longer. She slept in the bed with her mom for weeks after the attack and sleeps with a pair of scissors under her pillow. Peyton said, "It's hard to make friends. I keep everyone at arm's length, and I just don't really trust people." She said she's not angry at Anissa and Morgan anymore because they're going through their own hell. So I looked up updates on their cases. Yesterday, Anissa Weir, who's now 19, went in front of a judge asking for conditional release. She's currently committed at Winnebago Mental Health Institution in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. No decision was made, but she gave her letter to the court that was accepted for her file. And 3 doctors have recently examined her, are recommending her release, but she'll remain there until her full hearing in June. And Morgan, who is the one that actually stabbed Peyton, her judge filed an appeal last August and it was denied. So it's not looking good. There was a few other, nothing as insane as that story, but there was a girl also in 2014 in Ohio. Her mother got up in the middle of the night to go into the kitchen, and her daughter was standing there with a butcher knife and tried to stab her mother because Slenderman told her to, and she attacked her mother. Her mom survived, but and then another girl in 2014 set her house on fire with her whole family in it, siblings, parents, because Slenderman told her to.
I'm just confused because think back to like when you were 12. Would you have believed in something like Slenderman? Would you have believed that you should kill your own mother?
Well, I think the difference is that we weren't on the internet like that. I didn't sit on YouTube when I was 12, you know?
No, but I don't know.
And what kind of aggravated me is I don't remember if it was Morgan or Anissa, but one of their parents, one of their mothers was like, she's always been really into like horror movies and scary stuff, and she likes being really gory for Halloween, but like I did all those things too. Like all I watch is horror movies. I've never
Yeah.
I hate the connection to like, well, and this another story was this guy attacked and raped this girl, and his parents were like, well, he's really been into like all these gory video games, and he really likes Slenderman and all this shit. The connection is like, I've watched horror movies all my life, and my brother has played video games all his life. I've thought about it, but I've never attacked anyone or stabbed anyone. I think it's more to it than,
I feel like it's a cop out.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I think it's really weird that both of these girls were seriously mentally ill.
Yeah.
To the point of needing hospitalization. I think that they got off easy because they claimed they believed in Slenderman.
Yeah.
I don't really buy Morgan. I don't buy it.
But I never saw any of this. Like I knew he was, and I saw all the, the scary Slender Man. But to me, since I wasn't sitting on YouTube at that, how old were we in 2014? Like, Jesus, my God, I don't even know. Old. I was old enough to know that Slender Man is not real,
Yeah, but I'm saying like if we went back and we were, instead of watching those hamster cartoon videos getting blended up in Blender.
Joe cartoon. You know what we sat on? We sat on rotten.com, and that was
that was real shit.
Real shit.
But you know what? We never put a hamster in a blender,
Yeah, that's true.
It was like, I just don't picture myself at 12 being able to believe in something like that. Like I can see seeing it and being scared, and maybe in the back of my mind like wondering like, oh, is something gonna get me tonight?
Yeah.
I would do that today though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't hang my foot off the bed because I think
you can't do that. Something will.
I have to be covered up. Cody, I've been really hot at night for some reason, and Cody's like, just don't have the comforter on you. I'm like, I can't. Are you kidding me?
No.
Who's gonna protect me?
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know. I'm just
watching their interviews though is like watching their like interrogation tape. I mean, they're not. I know it is hard to believe, and I think Morgan, the one who actually, like how Anissa said, well, I don't know Slenderman, but or Morgan said, oh, I don't know Slenderman, but Anissa does. So one of them just had this kind of like just going along with what her best friend's saying, and she just kind of pulled her in, and I don't know. It's peer pressure.
Which one's dad had schizophrenia? Morgan's dad?
Yeah. And there was a clip with him, and he's pretty all over the place. I mean, he was upset, but he's not hospitalized somewhere. He's just living like as normal of a life as he can. So I don't know, but I mean, both their parents were like really, really upset and freaked out over the whole thing, and they just kind of, they blame themselves because their kids were so young. They didn't know what they were looking at on the internet. They didn't know that they had mental illness of any kind.
I think people let their kids do too much on the internet. I mean, our parents did too. I was talking to God knows who on AOL chat rooms.
I know.
And I would hide it from my dad because I knew it was wrong. I mean, he tried. He was like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, Candice. And really, it was like, who knows? Who knows who it was?
Well, right. My mom would always do the same exact thing. Well, who are you talking to? Well, I'm talking to Deanna. Well, I'm talking to Brittany. I'm talking to Gary. I'm talking to...
Yeah.
You would come over and it was just someone's little like screen name. There was no way.
Yeah.
There's no way of knowing.
And it's not even that I remember necessarily really talking about anything inappropriate, but I was not talking to people I knew. I mean, I was sometimes, but
It's just the fact that you are not supposed to talk to strangers.
yeah.
All we did.
Yep.
All we did.
And go on rotten.com and look at Marilyn Monroe's corpse.
Oh yeah. Is that still a site? I guess
I don't know. I want to go to it
now. But there was no like
there's worse stuff.
Right. There was no, that was the website to see like the craziest, sickest shit ever. But now you can just like Google whatever you want.
I don't know why I don't feel it sympathetic for them. I know that like to a certain extent your brain's not fully developed and all of that, but I know that at 12 I knew I shouldn't stab someone, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel sympathy
but then there's the whole
I feel sympathy for their position, for their mental illness. I think 40 years committed
that
to
is a long time
hospital for something you did when you were 12. And I don't know how this is going to sound, but she lived.
Yeah.
She's not dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that wasn't the plan. It wasn't the plan for her to live, but I don't know. But I guess that goes back to like, well, attempted murder is the same thing as murder. Just because they were tougher than you think and they live, you still tried to kill them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think morally it is. But I think as far as punishment goes, you should get a little lighter sentence for the attempted.
I don't know why I think that also. I don't know why.
Because
it just makes sense. Yeah, it just you didn't do a good enough job.
So maybe you should get more time then actually.
I just thought of that too.
You sucked at murdering someone.
You're a shitty murderer. We don't want you on the streets anymore. You can't do your job. Some of these Slenderman videos, these Slenderman sightings, I mean, there are thousands. And some of them, I'm like, okay, that's so fucking stupid. That's your dad in like a white mask out in the woods. But then sometimes I'm like, what is that? Like, that's really scary. And it's also about the way the person's recording. Like there was this one of these boys in the woods and they're just standing there talking and the guy is holding a camcorder and he's like, well, so what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know, what do you want to do? And then like Slenderman walks behind his friend. He's like, oh shit, what was that? And then they like go after it and keep recording. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The camcorder in the woods like that. That's your friend back there. But then some of just, people that drive with those like dash cams. There's a lot on those of someone just like walking in the woods or walking out of the woods. Some of them look
those creep me out.
Some of them look really real, and then some of them I'm like, you're a fucking child with like. I've been creeped out all week. Oh, I do want to say something.
Okay.
This at the beginning of the show. I want to thank everyone for not messaging me telling me I sounded like a fucking idiot when I was telling my story last week. So, because no one told me that, which is very nice. I was waiting. So I basically...
They were like me. They weren't listening to you.
Yeah, right. Or just trying to be nice and letting me sound like a fucking dummy. So the night before our last episode came out, when I did the Candice Newmaker story, the transcript that I found that I read, I found last minute after I already had my story done. And so I was like, oh, great. I'll just read this in the middle. So what I found was basically a copy and paste version of two different transcripts. One was stamped with the time of day, like 11 o'clock, 11:15, 11:20, 11:25. The other one was time stamped with minutes passing through like how long the actual session was. So that's why it was a jumbled fucking mess. What I was saying was in order, but timestamps were all over the place. So I'm sorry if you were thinking, what the hell? Yeah.
But see, I thought, oh, I misunderstood. I thought it was the time, and now I realize it's the minutes or something.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't realize it at first, but.
Well, and you send me the episodes to listen to before they come out, and I listened in like 3 different chunks. And when I heard my story on Monday night, it's like, wow, okay. Great. So sorry about that.
All right, so what I'm talking about, I think maybe some people have heard of. I definitely did not hear of it when I first researched this, but you're going to hear it either way. So, Josef Fritzl, does that sound familiar to you?
Josef.
Josef Fritzl. Okay, hopefully not. He was born April 9th of 1935 in Amstetten, Austria. Josef's mother was put into an internment camp for disobeying Nazi officers. She wasn't quite the same after that, and when she came home, she would beat him. Due to this abuse, his behavior began to change as well. He became a peeping Tom, and he would listen out for people having sex so that he could hear it. He also reportedly had fantasies about his own mother. In 1951, at age 16, Josef left home, and 5 years later, he met his wife, Rosemary. She was about 16 to 17 years old. In 1967, Josef followed a young mother to her house and waited until nightfall. He then broke into her home and raped her at knife point, with her child sleeping in a cot nearby. He was convicted and received an 18-month sentence in jail. However, he only served a year. Rosemary stood by her husband during this time. Can you imagine standing by your husband after he raped somebody at knife point?
I wouldn't.
No. As a side note, after 15 years, your record is cleared in Austria. And I don't know if that's still true.
No matter what?
Yeah, I don't know if that's still true or if it was just the case then, but as far as we're concerned right now, in the 70s of Austria times, maybe our Austrian listeners can chime in. After 15 years, your record is cleared, which will kind of come in later. So by the end of 1972, the Fritzls had 7 children, 4 girls, 3 boys. Josef was a respected member of society, and he was successful in his career as an engineer. Things were much different for the family behind closed doors. Josef was strict and violent with his children and wife. In 78, Josef decided to expand his family home with a roof terrace and got a permit to build a rather large cellar. He actually built the cellar even larger than the permit allowed. By the time his daughter Elisabeth was about 12 years old, Josef had become obsessed with her. He thought they had a special connection, and he saw a lot of himself in her. Josef would expose himself to her and leave pornographic magazines under her pillow. He started sexually abusing her as well. In 1983, when she was 17, Elisabeth ran away from home. A warrant was sent out for her, and she was caught by the police. Josef promised that he would never let her run away again. By that summer, the cellar was completed. In May of 1984, Elisabeth announced that she wanted to move in with her sister nearby. This was very upsetting to Josef. On August 28th of 1984, Elisabeth went missing. Her family received a letter from her stating that she had run away to join a cult. There was a little bit of news coverage on the missing young woman, but not a widespread search. What everyone didn't know was that Josef had actually lured Elisabeth into the cellar and chloroformed her. He carried her into a cell in the cellar and chained her up. Josef forced her to write the letter, and then he drove 100 miles out of town to mail it. Josef beat Elisabeth, tortured her, and raped her repeatedly. She became pregnant, and their first child, Kirsten, was born in 1988. Josef simply gave Elisabeth a book on childbirth, a towel, a pair of scissors, and a few napkins. She was forced to deliver the child alone in the cellar.
Oh my God.
In 1990, their second child, Stefan, was born, and by 1991, 7 years since the start of her imprisonment, she became pregnant again. Her mother and siblings lived above her in the house, unaware of what was going on. In August of 92, their third child, Lisa, was born. She had a heart defect and would not stop crying. Josef was worried that the soundproofing wasn't enough and people would hear the baby eventually. He took the baby and placed her in a box on the doorstep to his home with a note from Elisabeth saying that it was her child and asking for Josef and Rosemary to take care of her. Josef started trying to normalize the house downstairs with a TV, refrigerator, and things he thought the children might want. In 1994, Elisabeth gave birth to the fourth child, Monica, and Josef again placed that child on the doorstep for Rosemary to find. And in this instance, he had Elisabeth call or used a recording of Elisabeth calling their house phone and speaking to her mother and saying, "This is my baby. I need you to take care of her," basically.
Oh, yeah.
In 1996, Elisabeth gave birth to twins. One of the babies had breathing issues, and Josef let him die and incinerated his body. He took the other baby, Alexander, and put him on the doorstep like the last two. During this time, Josef expanded the cellar and forced Elisabeth and the children to dig the dirt with their bare hands. He would often turn off the lights or refuse to bring food for days to punish them. Josef obviously frequently raped Elisabeth and beat her in front of the children. He convinced Elisabeth and the kids that if they tried to escape, that they would be gassed. Indeed, there were 8 doors that had to be unlocked to get to the room that they were being kept in.
Jesus.
By December of 2002, Elisabeth had been held captive for 18 years. Kirsten and Stefan had never been outside or seen the sun. She gave birth again to a son named Felix.
Oh my God. This is.
I know. Josef apparently started to make plans to free Elisabeth. It is suspected that his sex drive had diminished, so the value in keeping Elisabeth locked up was also declining. But in one documentary, they said, like, Josef wanted Felix to go to school. But I'm like, something tells me Josef didn't give 2 fucks about school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just became really hard for him to, like, keep up this second life that he had, basically.
Yeah.
Before Josef was able to release his captives, their daughter Kirsten became seriously ill. Elisabeth demanded that he take her to the hospital. Josef took her there under the guise that he was Kirsten's grandfather and that her mother was nowhere to be found. The doctors said they needed to speak with the mother and broadcast a public appeal for the missing mother to come forward. Elisabeth saw this on the TV and she persuaded Josef that she needed to go to the hospital to explain what had been happening to Kirsten. Once she arrived and spoke to the doctors, police arrested her for child neglect and interrogated her. They threatened to take her kids away, so Elisabeth revealed what had been really going on. Elisabeth and her 3 children that were in captivity with her were finally free. For Elisabeth, it had been a total of 24 years of being locked in the cellar. It was revealed that Elisabeth and her children were more traumatized than previously thought. During captivity, Kirsten tore out her hair in clumps and was reported to have shredded her dresses before stuffing them in the toilet. Stefan could not walk properly because of his height. He was 5'8", but the maximum height in the cellar was 5'6". So he had to walk with a bent back, and he was never able to walk normally.
Holy shit.
It has also been revealed that normal everyday occurrences such as dimming of the lights or closing of the doors would plunge Kirsten and Stefan into anxiety and panic attacks. The other 3 of Elisabeth's children who were raised by their father are being treated for anger and resentment at the events because he told them their mother abandoned them. Meanwhile, she's locked in a cellar underneath the house. So A press conference was held about what happened. They stated that Elisabeth had been found and she'd been kept downstairs for 24 years. The tabloids, this happened in Austria, so they made it seem like the news there was respectful, but like English speaking tabloids like were very I don't know, intrusive to them. They wanted the pictures, they wanted stories, and Elisabeth refused. And she still refuses to this day. She doesn't want to be in the spotlight. She doesn't want pictures. You cannot find a picture of her on current day. Yeah. Her or the kids. They were kind of put into, I guess, like kind of a protection kind of thing where they were being treated.
Like, change their names too, right?
I don't know if they changed their names.
What about her, Elisabeth?
No, I don't think she did. Let's see. He originally pleaded not guilty, but when he saw Elisabeth basically testify against him and say that she had been traumatized and raped and everything, he broke down. And to him, he said he felt like she was his second wife. Yeah. So anyway, your favorite person, Dr. Grande? I watched a video that he did on the situation. So it was his assertion that it was like his sex drive was lowering, so the value of like keeping her down there wasn't really worth it anymore. He thought that it was strange that social services allowed Josef and Rosemary to keep the children that just kept popping up on their doorstep. They never investigated into like, why is Elisabeth allegedly just dropping these kids off at the doorstep? And that's kind of where the 15-year expunging of your record thing comes in, because his record was clear when social services did any kind of investigation. It didn't show up that he had a violent rape on his record. Yeah. So, yeah, he got, I don't remember how old he was. He looked ancient when he got arrested. He got like 15 years to life or something like that in prison, but we all know he's probably going to just die in prison.
Oh, Jesus.
I think the most recent update I saw was that he was still alive, but he wanted to die because his health had been declining.
Yeah. So what about her? You don't know anything about her?
The only thing I know about her is that they had like a bodyguard kind of situation for her. She fell in love with the bodyguard, and I think they're having a relationship. All of the kids, so she has like 6 children alive total. 3 of them lived upstairs with her mother and father, and 3 of them lived downstairs with her. They've all been in counseling, and they're all basically functioning as siblings and did
they even know that there was a cellar? People that live upstairs?
Yes.
Like, what the fuck did they think was in the cellar?
His wife knew that there was a cellar, but she wasn't allowed down there. And because he was so abusive and violent and domineering, she didn't like question it. She didn't go down there.
My God.
But Elisabeth did have a lot of resentment and anger towards her mother, because she's like, there's no fucking way you didn't think there was something weird going on in this cellar that you weren't allowed in.
If Peter told me, don't you dare ever go in the cellar, and then he left and went to work, the first thing I would do, go look in the cellar.
But it was locked. There were 8 locked doors to get to the cellar. Even if you got through one of them, you'd have to get through the next 7.
Oh my God. I would go through the floor.
I mean, at that point, I think if you're in a relationship and your significant other is telling you you're not allowed to go in this locked room, that's a red flag. You should just go ahead and call the police just to be safe.
Right.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? There's nothing in there.
Right, yeah, what would she
Maybe
think?
some drugs.
Yeah, I wonder what she thought was in there.
I don't know what she thought. She did say when Elisabeth called her, their number was new and it was unlisted. So she even told the police that it was weird that Elisabeth had called her about the baby and knew their phone number because it was unlisted and it was new since the time that she had disappeared. So she was like, I don't know how Elisabeth knew this number.
Oh my God.
You idiot.
Shit. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, idiot, but like, would you still think, oh, maybe she's in the cellar and Josef told her?
No, I wouldn't think all of that, but I would think, okay, something weird is going on here. This is the
Yeah.
third kid that she's dropped off on our doorstep, and she now
Let
all
me
of a
call
sudden,
her and tell her to stop bringing kids here.
yeah, seriously.
Oh my God, what a horrible life.
Have you ever heard of that story?
No, I've
Okay.
never heard. I thought I had maybe heard of his name, but I think there's another Josef that's on my list that's like some kind of cannibal or something.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that before. That's fucking crazy. But you know, it reminds me of that. Did you ever watch that movie Room with Brie Larson?
No, but I know that there's a book.
Oh my! Did you read it?
I haven't
We
read it
have
yet.
to do one or the other.
On my
It's
list.
so fucking good. And she's in this like outhouse for years.
It's a true story, right?
It's based on a true story. Yeah. And
Mhm.
she's so fucking good in it. And I'm not gonna tell you what happens. You have to watch it. You've literally never watched it. I've told you to watch before. Watch Room. Take the others. Swipe away the list I've given you.
That's true. I think I feel like I have listened to, I mean, watched some things you've said.
It's false. Did you watch The Gift with Jason Bateman?
Nope.
No, you didn't. And there was
I don't know
another
why, because he's my boo thing.
Yeah, because you don't trust me. That's why.
Well,
You're gonna be bored and you think
are you gonna read any of the books I recommend to you?
You don't recommend any books to me because you won't read them.
I did. I said you should.
It's easier
to read The Push.
To watch a movie than it is for me to read a book. I don't have time to read a book, Deanna.
Listen to the audiobook.
12 hours a day.
Listen to the audiobook.
Movies are 2 hours.
While Blair is watching Peppa Pig and Momo.
Oh my God, if I ever see Momo pop up during Peppa Pig, I love Peppa Pig.
Speaking of real life Momo, Penny.
Oh my God.
What's the new situation with that?
You know what my new fucking situation is I've been having fights with people on this Nextdoor app because I asked this week for if people use like a trainer in the area, because that trainer that I used before when I was pregnant and we knew Penny was feisty as fuck and we wanted to get someone out here, she is like in Johns Creek or something. She's so far away. So I went on and I asked if anyone has a trainer in the area. First of all, I couldn't believe how many people messaged me and they're like, thank you for not just rehoming the dog and trying to, which, oh my God, it almost made me start crying. We've had multiple friends that after they had babies, they were like, no more dog.
Well, yeah, I've heard of that because of the dog not getting along with the child or whatever.
Yeah. So for some context, my dog bit my daughter, my 17-month-old, the other day. I say bit, but if she actually...
It was more of an attack. No.
If she actually bit her, we would have had to go to the ER because she's a monster. But she nipped her, she scared her, she got her in the face. So anyway, but there was this one bitch that replied to me and she was like, first of all, you should never leave your dog alone with a baby. And it was
okay, thanks.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have trouble getting through this if that's your first of all, and I've got 5 more paragraphs to read. She basically said you can dogs will eat your face off at the drop of a hat if you let them. And I'm like, what are you?
Some dogs maybe, but
She went on and on and on and on. And then, and I didn't read so much of it in the last sentence, was the best solution is to rehome her. I'm like, what the fuck? So it was either that, comments like that, or people saying, this is who I used. Thank you so much for trying to help the dog, blah, blah, blah. And then this one woman was like, it's more likely that you and your husband need the training to that's like that.
okay, well, I need someone to tell me what that training is then, because
So is there training, like training to be a dog owner is basically what she was saying that I needed.
whatever.
That's not even a thing.
Honestly, that's kind of what dog training is.
Exactly. And so, and I did respond to her and I was like, well, I'm assuming that a dog trainer, I'm looking for in-home dog training, that person will come here and give us tips and guidance on how.
Yeah, she's not going to sit there and lecture Penny and give Penny homework. She's going to talk to you and Peter about what you need to do as dog parents.
Gosh, it's
been stupid
very,
bitch. Give me her number. I have some things to say to her.
It's been stressful.
Give me the other lady's number too.
But also, Penny has like bit Peter in the face before. But
Penny bit me in the back, guys.
Yeah, Penny's, I mean, and I keep saying biting, but she nips at you. She takes sharpest teeth and
There was a bruise. Everybody, there was a bruise on my back. It was there for 2 weeks.
Oh, she bit my mom's best friend too, nipped her right in the butt when she came.
And Penny had met me how many times before that? 4 times?
Yeah, multiple.
And then I came over for Thanksgiving and all of a sudden she bites me in the back.
No, and you know what's so weird is it's a I know you're gonna be like, oh, that's bullshit, but it's about, she is like that when there's people in the room that she cares about. And some new comes in and she's like, wait, who the fuck are you? Because she used to go to doggy daycare and she was around complete strangers and dogs she had never seen before. And she went 5 days a week. And we can't make her play with the dog at the dog park. She just bites him in the neck. To this doggy daycare, she was fine because there was no one there that she knew. There was no dogs there.
Okay.
Like, there were no people there that she knew. There was no one that she would protect, I guess. I didn't see what happened when she bit my daughter. I just heard it. I stepped inside to get my water, and I'm being berated for doing that on the Nextdoor app. But, and the woman that said to me, well, you should never, ever, ever leave any dog alone with any baby, is what she said. If anything like this had ever happened before, if this was a common thing, I would know. They stay apart from each other. Like, Blair doesn't even try to pet Penny. She just leaves her completely alone. She doesn't care about her. So I don't know.
I'm not a parent, but like, I feel like it's unrealistic to have eyeballs on your child at all times.
It is unrealistic.
There are going to be times where you're like, okay, I'm walking 15 feet away.
Yeah.
She's sitting there fine. She's been sitting there fine for a long time, especially at 17 months. It's like, okay, she's in a safe space that I know she can't get out of.
Yeah.
I'm going to go grab my water. Like, anyone would do that. I don't care who you are.
And it's also that thing of like, nothing like this has ever happened. I've never gone and done something and she's fallen.
It's not like you put her in the front yard by the road and was like,
exactly.
Okay, well,
most of the time
back.
when and most of the time when she falls or something, I'm sitting right there. So you're going to fall either way. So I'm going to go get my water. But nothing like that has ever happened. So I'll even like go upstairs sometimes and like start a little laundry and come back down. I'll be gone for like a minute or 2 minutes, which that's kind of a long time, but it's like, since nothing has ever happened, I'm more comfortable doing it.
You're also not like leaving her alone in the bathtub or something crazy.
Right.
Okay, Blair, you're in the pool. You're in the deep end, but it's fine. You have some floaties on. I'm going to go in here and get a glass of wine.
I'm going to go paint my nails. I don't know. Very stressful. And it was not funny, but it was kind of funny. When Peter came, I text him. I didn't know he was already on his way home, but like Penny is Peter's baby and Blair is my baby.
Yeah.
Text Peter and I said, Penny just bit Blair. And he said, what? In like capital letters. And then I sent him the photos and like he didn't respond for like 5 minutes. And then he pulled up in the driveway. So I was like, oh, that's why he wasn't responding, because he was driving. He was on his way home. And he came in and I had put Penny outside and I was sitting on the couch with Blair and his face was like white, but he couldn't see her because she was sitting down in front of the couch, like looking up at the TV. And he goes, where's Blair? I was like, she's right here, just watching TV. And he goes, where's Penny? And I said, I killed her. And he just stared at me and he like kind of turned away. He set his keys down and his coffee cup down and he looked back at me and his like all of the blood was gone from his face. And he goes, where is she? I was like, she's outside. I know that he knows I wouldn't actually do that, but I had before, when she like snarls at Blair, I've told him, I said, it'll be over if she like actually ever bites her or attacks her. Like she's
yeah.
Over. And so when I said that to him, his face was like,
yeah, I think he's really afraid you're gonna get rid of her.
Yeah.
What would you do though? Would you give her to me or no, I'm just kidding.
Well, I wouldn't give her to you.
Would give her to like your mom or something?
Unless you wanted all your cats to die. Yeah.
No.
It's my parents. But even that, it's so extreme to me. Like that's not an
Yeah, I know, yeah. I mean, you shouldn't. That's obviously the last thing
God.
you should do.
I'd rather her walk around the house with a tiny little muzzle on than like give her to anyone.
Yeah.
At least she'll be tired of wearing the muzzle and she won't bite anyone anymore.
I think because she didn't totally like maul Blair, to death.
Yeah.
You can probably just talk to a trainer. Did you get any good recommendations?
Yeah, I got multiple, but I got the most about one place. Like 10 or 12 people recommended the same place out of like 100 comments. So not 100, maybe like 50. But so I'm gonna check them out because they're really close. I just feel like it's worth it. We have to do something.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because the trainer that I had before, she said to me word for word, I think I texted you this the other day. She said, you don't have the type of dog that's just going to turn around and bite your baby in the face. And that was relieving to hear. And then on Monday, she did just that.
Yeah, but then again, we don't know. Like, I think she was saying like unprovoked, Penny wouldn't attack, but Blair probably did something, even unknowingly, by accident or whatever.
I heard Penny bark, but it was like a yelping bark. Like something happened and Penny didn't know what it was, and so she just like reacted. And Blair was laying like on the pavement at the bottom of, we have 3 stairs that go down into the yard. So it looked like they were both trying to come up the stairs together, or like Blair stepped on her tail, or I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or fell on her, because Penny made a noise like she got hurt.
Yeah.
Little yelp. So, oh my God, I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed like a scrape or something. Like it was not, I don't think it was like really intentional on Penny's part. Like I think it was just her like knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope so.
How has she been ever since?
Well, Penny barks when like the mailman comes or something like that. And so that happened on Monday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, if Penny would bark, Blair would get upset and she would kind of like walk away from her. But she hasn't done it in the past couple of days. But she had a night terror the night at half. That I did tell you that.
I know, it's so sad.
Oh my God, she was awake screaming for like an hour. It was, and I don't want to associate the two, but why else would she had a nightmare about her own pet dog biting her face off and go back to sleep. Oh, it's been very stressful. So this week as our ender, because of the new release date of season 4, right?
3.
This quiz says but it's season 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the new release date season 4 of Handmaid's Tale. We're going to do a quiz and see which Handmaid's Tale character we are. You want to swap off reading?
Yeah.
You want me to go or you go?
You can go first.
I'll go since you're eating. Do you usually walk fairly fast with small steps, fairly fast with long steps, less fast, heads up, looking the world in the face, less fast, head down, very slowly, it varies? There's a lot of answers for these.
I know.
I'm going to go with it varies.
I'm fairly fast with long steps. I'm a fast walker.
Oh, okay.
When talking to people, you stand with your arms folded, have your hands clasped, have one or both of your hands on your hips, touch or push the person to whom you're talking, play with your hair or touch your chin, or it depends.
Oh, I'm such a toucher. I'm either touching myself or I'm like touching them.
I'm going to say arms folded for me.
I'm going to go with touching. When relaxing, you sit with your knees bent with your side legs neatly side by side. Oh, with your your side.
What are you, a spider?
Your knees bent with your legs neatly side by side. Your legs crossed, your legs stretched out or straight, one leg curled under.
Definitely one leg curled under me, which is why my knees hurt all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Same.
I'm doing that right now, actually.
Yeah, I have my leg under me too.
When something really amuses you, you react with a big appreciative laugh, a laugh but not a loud one, a quiet chuckle, or a sheepish smile. I laugh really loud and hard when I fucking think something's
Yeah, you
funny.
do. You do. Yeah, I think I do too, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like if it's mildly funny, obviously it's just going to be a chuckle, but if something is actually funny, it's going to be a loud reaction for me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. When you're in bed at night, in those last few moments before going to sleep, you are stretched out on your back, stretched out face down on your stomach, on your side, slightly curled, with your head on one arm, with your head under the covers. Oh my God, something else. I'm going to go with on my side, slightly curled.
Yeah, that would be the best, I think, description of what I do as well. You often dream that you are fighting or struggling, falling, searching for something or somebody, flying or floating. You usually have a dreamless sleep, or your dreams are always pleasant.
I don't feel an attachment to any of these answers.
I do have that, when you're first falling asleep, that falling shit.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
I have that
often, though.
At least once a week, if not more.
Once a week?
Yeah, and then I have that. Have you heard of exploding head syndrome? Yeah. It's like where you're about to fall asleep and you hear like a really loud noise.
Yeah, my mom has that.
Times a month. Yeah,
my mom has that.
It's so crazy. I don't really identify with these though, as far as dreams.
I mean, I guess falling is really the only one, even though it's not that common, that's the only one that I have experienced.
I do have a lot of fighting or struggling though in my dreams.
Really?
So I'll probably go with that one, yeah.
I'm just going to go with falling, I guess. When you go to a party or social gathering, you make a loud entrance. You want to be noticed. Enter quietly, looking for someone you know. Make a quiet entrance, trying to stay unnoticed.
Enter quietly, looking for someone I know, for sure.
I'm going to go with make a loud entrance.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I feel like I do.
You're working very hard, deep in concentration, and you're interrupted. You welcome the break, feel extremely irritated, or between these two extremes. Very irritated. 100%.
Oh yeah, if I'm working very hard,
Mm-hmm.
concentration, and I'm interrupted. Yeah, I'm gonna go with irritated. Oh my god, who'd you get?
Moira? Who'd you get?
Aunt Lydia.
Oh my god, you are not Aunt Lydia.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Authoritative in nature, you are in charge, and everyone knows it.
Mine says rebellious in nature, even the strongest societal norms can't make you conform.
Wow, you're so lucky.
I'm way cooler than you.
I love her. I love her so much in Orange is the New Black too. I'm sad that that show turned to shit. It didn't turn to shit, but I think they could have, if they would have like thrown everything in that they wanted to and stopped at like season 3, it would have been perfect. I didn't even watch the last season.
I didn't either.
I'm very excited for this. I'm gonna go back and watch the last season of Handmaid's Tale because it was so fucking good. And I need a refresher. When is it? April 28th, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, I'm excited.
So maybe we should do, when that comes out, maybe we should do like a weekly episode review or something.
Ooh. Oh, that's right, because it's weekly. It's not all at once.
Well, I don't know if it's weekly or not, but I'm saying we could make it.
It is, though. Remember?
Way. Is it?
I think it is, because I remember being
having to wait.
Yeah, I remember it being like the only show I watched that's like that, and so I was like pretty pissed. I don't think it all comes out at once.
Either way, we could just talk about it each week as far as what's going on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a weekly drop. That's how it was last season, though. Anyway, I don't know why it would change. Okay, well, do you have anything else that you want to touch?
No.
Dunsey?
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your feedback and all your support.
Thank you.
Thank you for going to the Redbubble store and buying merch.
Yeah, which actually no one's doing. So I feel like so we have a pre-recording at the end of the episode. I feel like people stop listening.
They do.
Because I mean, in all honesty, though, the podcast I listen to, I don't listen to the end recording. I'm like, okay, the episode's over. Let me go to the next one. We have merch. We have a Redbubble store. All the info's on our Patreon. I mean, all the info's on our Instagram. We have a Patreon. Visit our Patreon. Donate if you like the show. We have a private Facebook group. Follow us. Find us on Instagram. Find us everywhere. Email us.
More than anything, if you can't buy a sticker or a shirt or donate to the Patreon, tell your friends about us.
Yes, that is the
more than anything. We want fame.
Yes.
So just tell your friends about us.
Chris, our Patreon in Sweden, she finally got her sticker this week.
What a sweetie. Oh,
yay! Isn't that crazy? It took like 2 months, but
I
feel like that's kind of nuts that I can just drop an envelope in the mail and it will get to Sweden. That doesn't make sense. It seems like I would need to take that.
Took a very long time, though.
Oh, it's so crazy how well we're glad you got your
yeah, next time we'll just bring it to you.
Yeah. Okay, see you next Tuesday.
Yep, bye.
We gladly provide No Fucking Way to our listeners at no cost, but if you're in love with us and love what you hear, please consider supporting the show by visiting and donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/nofuckingway.
This helps offset the cost of making and producing the show ourselves, and you get a sticker and a love note from yours truly.
Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. It helps us and helps people like you find us easier. And don't forget to tell your podcast-loving friends how to find us too.
Email us your story or anyone's fucked up story to NFWpodcast@gmail.com.
Find our private Facebook page at facebook.com/nofuckingway.
Follow us on Instagram at NFWpodcast.
Thanks for listening.
See you next Tuesday.